Again, here we are. Welcome to our latest edition of TNT.
Boom, boom, and the
Boom,
boom.
boom. I'm Pastor Joe with the great Michael Lamel the first. I feel like I didn't say that last week.
Easy, doc. Easy. I'm here with the impeccable and incomparable, the immutable.
Look at this
that, that was good, I think. Yeah.
This is great. See your Aunt Rue. See your Bishop Baker. Aunt Rue says we're early tonight. We're not really early. We're right
Early
on time.
on
On time. Matter of fact, a little late on Facebook, but all good. All good.
Yep.
Auntie just celebrated her birthday a few days ago on the 26th.
Man, my.
August. Today
That's
is
good.
The 29th, also known as the birthday of the King of Pop.
That part.
Michael Jackson himself.
That part.
I'm a huge fan, as everybody is, whether they admit it or not.
Yes, that part. That part.
And it's a great day. Great day.
Man.
Can't be muted. There you go. Can't be muted. Immutable.
Immutable. That's a good word, actually.
It's an excellent word. Really only describes one entity.
That
is
part.
our God.
Like, I was using it in jest for my brother, but there's one. Let's be clear. Immutable is fitting for in one particular context.
One entity. Yep. My man Rome Diddy, congratulations, man. I hear you getting jumping that room next year, brother. This is awesome.
I'm gonna take it and look here.
Awesome. Rome Diddy is one of VA's best artists that y'all been doing things around here for a long time on the hip hop scene.
Man,
I've been knowing him since he was
awesome.
A young lad.
That's awesome.
He was in a group, and I'm gonna just say this because you're my friend. He was in a group called the Earth Kids years ago under the direction of Leon Silvers that also featured your friend, your protege, if you will, the first Black Annie. What's her name?
I'm looking right at her face.
Well, I see her face too.
Yeah.
I can't place today.
See, on my jump that I just was saying
with her raw players.
Yep.
What is her name? Easy name too.
Very simple.
Anyway, they was all in a group together way back in the day.
Very
super
talented
simple. As kids, and now they're adults and super talented as well.
Man, and she been doing all of her thing, brother.
Yeah, man. She on Broadway and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I see you, my former co-worker, still church member, Sister Danielle.
Man,
we used to work together. Now she's moved on to greener pastures, but she still goes to our church. So, what up? What up?
That part.
What is that young lady name? It's gonna bug me till I figure it out.
It's gonna come up right in a second.
Okay,
I got it
got
right
it coming. I only got to
here.
think.
Nope, got it right here. So, how you been doing, Pastor?
Man, I'm great, man. We actually started school yesterday. Yesterday was the first day back for teachers in Portsmouth. It was the first day back for students in Virginia Beach and Norfolk.
Yes. I think so.
So first day of school is always exciting. And
Adrian Warren.
There it is. Adrian. That's her name. I knew it started with an A. Adrian Warren. He was in a group with her.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I'm excited. I had summer is over officially for me. It ended yesterday. And I had a fantastic summer where I really did not do a whole lot. I spent a lot of time with my young son, which was
the prince.
Yep, just a pleasure. I look forward to his, waking up whenever he woke up and going to bed whenever he did. And I will be transparently honest that I watched way more Netflix this summer than I probably should have. But when my son is up at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, which one me to do? I mean, I could read the Bible. I just watched Netflix. So me and Prince watched a lot of good shows.
A lot of good shows. Are you a fan of Black Mirror?
I have not seen it. And I was actually scrolling through yesterday trying to see what's the next series I'm gonna take on. And I came across that and I was thinking about it.
Black Mirror is fantastic.
Okay, well done. I have nothing else to say.
I recommend that you JLW says she loved Black Mirror. I recommend that you scroll through, like, try to keep your composure, but go, don't cheat around to the other ones, and go to White Bear. Watch that one first. It's in season 2 or 3, I think season 3.
Watch White Bear before I watch Black Mirror.
Before you watch, no, it's in Black Mirror, the series, but it's season 2 or 3.
So watch that one first.
Find that one. Okay. Watch it first, and then go back to the first one.
All right, I'll do it just
very,
like that.
Very important. And there's another one called Nosedive that is equally. You can watch White Bear in that one, but and when you see it, you'll say, "Aha!" Okay. And then you go back to it. Very, very important.
All right, great. How you doing?
Yep. And
then come back and tell us what you. All right, I got a project. All right, might start that tonight.
Yes.
Might start that tonight, maybe tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. Figure it out.
The doctor is still here. I think I don't know. I think she wants to see me. Work my brain, but or maybe we too loud. They need to get some ministry, huh? They watching us.
Oh, okay.
So that's good. Hey,
you leave?
No.
Oh, I thought you said she wanted to see you.
I think so. I'm doing TNT.
Okay. So should we do it as normal, as usual?
As usual.
All right. You said it.
Let me see. And then come back and tell us what you think.
All right.
That's what Micah said.
I'm going to do that.
I think really that you should do it. White Bear.
I'm going to do it.
White Bear. If you haven't watched Black Mirror series, go and watch Black Mirror and watch White Bear first. And then Nosedive is a really, really good one. But then go back to the first one and then watch all of them. Also, I was getting a trim up on my beard. They were watching the Tyrone movie.
Haven't seen that yet either.
They cloned Tyrone.
Yeah, they cloned Tyrone. I've been saying it kind of, in my suggestions.
I saw some, pieces here and there. And now I need to watch the whole thing.
Okay, so that's good too, huh?
3 or 4 more times.
Okay, all right. I've been putting it off. But I'm gonna have to get to that later. I'm gonna do this Black Mirror first.
Brother, have you watched? I recommend that every female, every woman watches this show that I'm gonna say, but men should too. But women, Handmaid's Tale.
Yes, I haven't seen all of them, but my wife and I were watching it. That's not Netflix though. That's Amazon. Oh, Hulu. Okay, whatever. Yeah, one of them. Hulu. We were watching it a little bit, and then she kind of started watching it more because I can't watch everything. I got it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I was watching it. Very good. Very interesting.
It's very psychological.
Yep.
And I will say this: art imitating life is very interesting to me.
There we go.
Art imitating life. So. Watch the Tyrone thing, but I recommend watching 1984, George Orwell, or reading the book.
Reading the book, right.
It used to be required reading.
Yep.
But read the book, see the movie, and then watch the Tyrone film. But if you've already watched the Clone Tyrone, go back and see 1984.
Your thing, man.
This movie critic thing.
Yeah, this is interesting. Like
I always wanted to be
how you're kind of instructing us or admonishing us to do this first, then like this could be a thing. I don't know.
Let's introduce it and incorporate it. I've always been interested, and I think I try to gather how people's minds work, and if I've seen it, I'm just make the recommendation because it can walk you into, like First Peter, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word first, that ye may grow thereby. The milk, and a lot of us don't read enough. That's number one. So, and here's the thing I always tell my students and just people I encounter, they say, "Oh, the book was so much better." Well, the book is better because you've created the reality in your mind.
In your mind, exactly.
And so, books will always have the perspective of being better, so to speak. But there, every now and then, you come across a film that wows you, or a series or something that wows you because they have seemed to capture the essence of the written word in a universal way that everyone can appreciate.
Right.
Take, for example, Color Purple.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic,
Color Purple.
As classic as it gets. Aunt Ruth says, "Are those shows for old people like herself?"
Yes, they're for people
For people.
who are
People
in this
shows.
world. Yes.
All right.
Period.
Love it.
Technology. Talking about technology, we all should, with the introduction of AI, we should be privy to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, um, because we like to be truth seekers and proponents of truth, advocates of it. Jordan Peterson, who basically a fan of Jordan Peterson. I like his work. I like his
So do I.
speeches. Is being censored. I sent Pastor a text. If you don't know who Jordan Peterson is, do yourself a favor also and go and follow Jordan Peterson. If you can find something, because they're censoring him again right now, and saying that if he doesn't, excuse me, go and take a social media content awareness sensitivity class, that he will be banned from social media.
And,
they have a-
and not just that, but
talk
lose his
about
job.
that, but lose his income.
But lose his
Bro,
job.
talk about that. Like, this is so magnanimous of a thing, because free speech is being undermined through social media. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah. Well, so Peterson is a conservative.
oh, my bad.
Uh,
Got you.
is a conservative. I'm gonna say social commentator, but he's a clinical psychologist. He has degrees in psychology, and I believe he teaches at a school or lectures at a school in Canada, which means that he's dealing with different laws or amendments than in the United States. We have free speech, whatever.
Right.
But even if the speech was free there as it is here, whenever you're employed by a particular institution,
Yeah.
they can't necessarily control what you say, but they can control what happens after you say it, right? So that's just how it is everywhere, right? So he is, like I said, he's conservative, which means that um, he approaches some of the things that are happening now, such as what was called gender dysphoria, uh, from a clinical psychologist standpoint, and he stands essentially on the side of the creator, that there are two genders and that type of stuff. So but he's very outspoken about a lot of things, about feminism, and most of the stuff that he says to me is very straightforward, common sense, logical, but people can't stand it because it's very direct, and uh, you have to be smart enough, in my opinion, to appreciate what he's saying, or else you'll soundbite him into this kind of soundbite purgatory that's not
Right.
representing what he's saying
To the fullest context of what the full breadth of his message.
right.
They do that all the
They
time.
do it all the time, especially to him, right? And
Right.
so, like Mike said, so the university is saying that he has to be coached by this social media expert, of which he says there is no such thing.
There is no such thing.
And they have to
Who's
have
probably not even 25.
right, yeah, right. And they have to. There's some standards that they've set that he has to hit, or else he's in danger of them essentially losing his job, losing his license. And that's a guy that's very outspoken, but it's happening whether you understand this or not. For those of us who are significantly less popular, whenever you make certain statements or posts or retweets or whatever, you are endangering yourself. I was trying to look straight. You're endangering yourself of being uh, uh, accused of making and promoting hate speech
from all these truthophobic people that have truthophobia.
Yeah, and hate speech is a big thing on social media, but it's not just social media. Some of you, excuse me, are probably familiar, and I'm not. Google it. There's a young man who wore a T-shirt to his school.
Yes, talk about
that
that.
said there are only two genders. The school was incensed that he did this, and essentially forced him to either change the shirt or go home. Uh, they accused him essentially of promoting hate speech when his shirt, regular shirt, just says there are only two genders. Uh, there are certain people who don't believe that. And I think that it is their complete and total right to uh, say how many genders they think it is. Well, in my opinion, it is his equal right, and this guy's in the United States of America, to say that there are only two genders. So they made him remove the shirt. And then he came back with another shirt that said something like he was being punished for stating that there was only two genders or something. And they got mad at him, made him remove that shirt, and are basically threatening to suspend this brilliant kid who essentially none of his classmates were offended by it, but the administration,
Grown
again,
ups.
fearing the outcry of what we call hate speech, uh, want to censor and want to silence opposing thoughts. Because if somebody would have said there are 15 genders, that shirt would not have been considered hateful, which is very interesting to me how the other side of that coin is hateful and one side is not. And so there's a lot of this stuff going on. In
I'd say I've had this conversation 3 times in the past 24 hours, and I rest my laurels on this one underpinning thought that I don't have a problem. Most people don't have a problem with accepting your delusion. And I'm saying that because we're on TNT and we use the word delusion a lot. But in these conversations, I started with saying your choice. And then I explained how a choice can be one of delusion or one of sanity.
mm-hmm.
But I am not opposed to accepting your choice because it is in fact yours.
Yep.
What I think is the baseline single element of all of these arguments back and forth is the idea or the point that we're being forced and mandated to accommodate your choice, which is different. I want to be very clear.
Yeah.
Acceptance and accommodation. What do you think, Pastor? Like, and every other conversation stems from that. I'm trying to get down to the one string thing. What do you think?
It's a great it's not even really a fine line. It's really two different things. Acceptance is one thing, accommodating is another. And I think that acceptance is fine. It makes perfect sense to me. Accommodating, though, means that you now have to go out of your way to make sure that I'm comfortable in my state. I'll give you an example. Anybody that knows me with any level of intimacy knows that I detest mayonnaise. Can't stand it.
You don't like it. I know that.
I don't
the
like
consistency
it.
of it.
I don't like it. I don't eat macaroni salad. I don't eat tuna salad. I don't eat chicken salad. I don't eat devil eggs, angel eggs. I don't eat none of that. If you bring me something that has mayonnaise on it, I am probably not going to eat it. I am not going to be rude about it.
Right.
But if it has mayonnaise, I'm going to politely say, I will probably not want to eat that.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, right.
Right. So today, let's just talk today.
And you talking about yourself, right?
Talk about me.
So
right?
nobody really can be offended.
Right. You don't have to be offended.
They might be, but
you don't have to be offended of what I like and what I don't like. You might love.
Oh, that's probably the point, though. See,
this is my point. You might love angel eggs or deviled eggs.
I do actually.
I don't eat. My wife loves them. She gets them made every year for her birthday.
I'm coming over for your birthday.
I don't touch them. Right. Okay. I had a bad experience. It's just with me. It is what it is. Today, our school district bought us the whole district lunch, and there were some nice salads, and my principal said, "Mr. Williams, what type of dressing would you like?" And so I said, "Well, ma'am, what type of dressing do we have?" And she ran down the list. It was ranch, it was Thousand Island, and it was something else. And I said, ma'am, I don't think I need any dressing today. She said, I don't think I need any dressing.
All them J's together.
It just, I don't need none of that. Right? So I chose to take my salad and leave all of the dressings for those people that want them. But I did not ask to be accommodated for my proclivity.
I hope y'all are catching this, what we're saying, man.
I grabbed my salad and said, you know what? No, thank you. I'm going to either have to eat a dry salad or.
So you didn't make everybody eat a dry salad?
I didn't make everybody eat a dry salad. I didn't talk about nobody who decided to eat ranch dressing on their salads. Nothing. I just told my principal very politely, no, ma'am, I don't think I need salad dressing today.
She didn't even demand it. Why either? Did you have to insist on telling her why?
Nope.
Your bad experience, you didn't share?
Nope. Didn't get into that. But it's like if I would have been standing there and been very critical of the people, of their choices, because my choice or my attractiveness or whatever you want to call it wasn't the same. And it's like, why are we doing this? If mayonnaise is being served, I don't necessarily have a right to make a demand, right? I can abstain or I can eat it. It is just what it is. And people can accept, man, okay, yeah, Joe, he don't really like that. And that's fine. But nobody's required to make accommodations for me and my proclivities, right?
Any choice that he makes, it's his. I said this before, even his wife, because we got to do a jam about teaching about one flesh and stuff. We got to kind of, because judgment is separate. Lord have mercy. And I was challenged on this quite a few times from different people. Regardless of your connectivity up to and including marriage, judgment is separate. Ask Adam, Abraham. Just
roll call.
So your choice is yours. It's not mine. It's not mine. And again, there is one element that can solve this whole thing. Acceptance and accommodation. We've grayed the lines or made them be synonymous, and they are not. I rest my whole case on that one element. Right. I had the conversation yesterday with a person I know, a gay man, who says, he hasn't been in a relationship for 3 years because people are weird and all this transgenderism, and he specifically, I like men. He's very effeminate and kind of known around, so I don't want to go into that. But he says he saw a post that I made, 21 questions, that said, if genitals don't indicate then why cut them off or change them? I got a lot of feedback from that jump, right?
Wow.
Hit me on the phone. Because I tagged him directly in it. I wanted all perspectives.
Right.
He said, you are absolutely correct. This is the first thing. He said, absolutely. That is true. I said, okay. Explain. He said, yeah, if you like what you like, period. That's what I like.
Yeah.
This is a gay man saying this.
Right.
I said, that's what I'm talking about, bro. And I called him bro. Like I always do.
Right.
He said, I like what I like. But people try to sneak and say what they like, or they do two things, or they like go overboard on the other side and say, make everybody do what their thing is.
Right.
Say, man, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is wrong. I said, well, homosexuality and transgenderism both are not identities. They are practices. He said, what? Whoa. I said, yes. It is a practice. By virtue of what you just said, what I'm submitting to the conversation, it is what you do, which goes back to choice. It is not who you are. Good God Almighty. I feel my help coming. Who you are is who God created you. And there's nothing in these choices save the pleasure of your flesh that is fulfilling to what God ordered in nature. There's no order in it other than what you created. And that is the truth, brother.
Yep.
He put wow like a long in the text.
Right. Wow.
And said, you're right.
Yeah.
Didn't try to change him. We had an open, objective conversation, one of the most beautiful conversations that I had about the subject in a long, long time.
Right.
And this brother said, you are right. He said, I've never heard anybody put it in that perspective. We talked about accommodating and accepting.
Mm-hmm.
He agreed. And I said, anytime you want to have any other conversation, please call me. You're more than welcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even welcome on TNT.
Yep.
Anytime.
Yep.
You won't be shamed. You will, and have an open, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he said he would consider that. I thought it was amazing.
Yep. The conversation is one that we should be able to have objectively in a safe space, without it being deemed hate or derogatory, pejorative when there is disagreement.
Correct.
And even the framers of our Constitution understood one of the principles that America was built upon was that there was not going to be any state religion, right? And so we have this idea that the government can't make you be a certain religion.
Correct.
But it also gives you the freedom to be any religion that you
want. It's built into the. It's built into the
right.
Into the fabric.
It's written into it. You don't. There's no way that you have to be this. But
we're not going to mandate it.
Right. No mandate for you to be this. But you get to be whatever religion you choose. And now it's seeming like the religions or the religious experience that many of us have chosen is being deemed hateful, derogatory. It's being characterized as something outside of the norm, which we don't really have a problem with, as Jesus tells us, we're in the world, not of the world.
Right.
But up till a few years ago, a lot of the stuff that we were espousing from our religious expression and experience were things that we just called common sense. And really, you didn't have to have a religion to recognize them. It's really kind of people that have their own religion, which is a whole nother thing I'm itching to get into. That is anti the kind of basic understanding of how we were created. I saw a guy the other day made a post, and he was killing Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the Gospels, and talking about the what was the word he used? The epistemology that they represent. And he was like, why would a God have such a weak epistemology with these guys? And one of the things that he brought up, the NIV now basically says that they don't know who wrote the book of Matthew specifically. Obviously, it's believed to be written by Matthew, but there's no eyewitnesses, okay, obviously. And so he was just kind of killing the fact that these guys are alleged eyewitnesses. But we don't even know if they wrote what they're allegedly eyewitnessing, and the whole gospel essentially hinges on this very weak idea. And I really wish that I could have been there, and I was going to tell him the God that we serve doesn't need Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, because he has trees. He has bumblebees. He has air. He has the ocean. He has the moon. He doesn't need none of that.
And all of creation does it. First chapter of Romans, we talk about this all the time. They all do their jobs and worship and lift the Creator in respect.
They literally point you to a Creator.
And we're the only ones that second guess.
Right.
Like kind of, well, maybe.
Right. And so whatever your religious experience is, the creator created you a certain way, which was basically what we understood for at least 15,000 years. And now all of a sudden there's this thing where we don't even think that that's good enough, that we want to recreate ourselves
God complex.
in an image that is not what he gave us.
Man.
And without Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the God that we serve was very clear as to how he expected us to be.
Like I said,
whether it was ever stated that he
that
created male and female, you just look around.
and there is nothing in the order of nature that approves or encourages same sex for humans to be same sex, save your pleasure, the pleasure of your flesh, which goes back to your choice. It's your choice of this is what I want to do.
Yep.
There's no result. A male and a female produce and procreate and have offspring. Purpose.
Yep.
It's really not debatable. And people do. It's just like we were talking before about an atheist. So there is no God. Okay. Then what are we talking about? Right?
Right.
That's your position. Okay. What are we talking about? What I'm going to do, though, don't take that next breath, though. don't do that. I was asked today, was I I met a Muslim young man. He asked me, was I Muslim? Because I spoke him in the greeting, Assalamu alaikum. He said, you a Muslim? I said, I started to answer, and then I took a breath and I waited, and he said, well, are you? And I said, huh. And then he says, so you're on the fence. And I just kind of did like this. I stepped back and was like, wow. This brother is asking me. I say, you speak multiple languages? He said, yes. Arabic, English, French, a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
From Morocco.
Okay.
I said,
right.
Huh. I said, well, I'm not on the fence, but yes, I'm a Muslim. He said, oh, okay. He said, and then I said, I'm also a Christian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he said, wait a minute. How is that? How can that be? I said, well, let's examine what you're asking me. And he's a young brother, maybe 21.
Mm-hmm.
I said, the definition of Islam is submission in a very literal, in Arabic, the literal translation. A Muslim is one who submits to God. Now then, I'd like to ask Pastor, who's here, was not privy to my earlier conversation, given the information that I just gave you, are you in fact a Muslim?
Absolutely.
Are you also a Christian?
1,000%.
So, in the etymology of that word, Christ-like, a Christian, and we emulate the Christos. We work daily to do that. And I share with the young brother, I say, in your holy book, the Quran, the person of this Christ that we're speaking about is in there more than your prophet Muhammad. Be blessed. He's blessed. Yes, I'm not taking or taking away from that. Prophet Muhammad is in there like 3 times. The Jesus figure, this is how I said, and for the sake of our conversation, this is in your book more than your holy esteemed prophet. So you tell me, are you Christian? He was stuck like I was at first. Huh. We exchanged numbers. He said, I need to talk to you more. I said, by all means, I want to share ideas and tell me, you teach me something. Show me. What say you? Are you in fact a Muslim? And then I began to recite some of the prayers. He said, there are Muslims who don't know the Al-Fatiha that well.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, This is what we're talking about. I'm very serious about worshiping a single God, a creator. Here's the thing. Jesus spoke Aramaic.
Mhm.
I need you to go look this up. In Aramaic, the word God is Allah.
That's the word.
Okay. So when Jesus was here, literally walking around, and we translate it as our Father, Lord, God, he was saying Allah. Okay, I'm done. This is Bible study, right?
It is Bible study, and but the thing is, I mean, don't again. We're gonna ask you to don't soundbite it. Listen to the context,
that whole thing,
so that you understand.
Because right now I'm gonna be and I got a beard. You got
Right,
a beard.
bro,
we're gonna be at the mail. What do you call it? At the post office with our pictures on it.
I'm upset with myself having heard your conversation, because I had a very similar conversation maybe a year or so ago. I was at America's Best Wings, and if you've ever been there, you kind of know
Yes,
the people that are
absolutely.
serving. And so the guy was like, "Sir, where are you from?" And I was like, "I'm from."
Saw that beard, then.
Right? Yep. And he was like, are you Muslim?" And I immediately said, "No, I'm Muslim." I said, "I'm a Christian," or whatever. He's like, "Oh, okay." But he just saw my beard and just kind of my demeanor and was making certain connections. Because
demeanor, that guy saw that in me today.
Right.
It was very peaceful. Yes.
Yep. And obviously, if somebody's asking you if you're a Muslim, what they're probably asking you is that, are you a follower of the religion known as Islam, right? Are you in the nation, or are you a follower of Islamic? Or, right.
Shiite, Sunni.
Right. That's typically what they're asking.
Right.
Not really recognizing the etymology, the foundation of these words.
Catch this. Catch this.
And
that part.
And a lot of us don't really get how much I hate to say certain words, but
get it, brother.
That when you say that Jesus spoke Aramaic, that's the word for God. Allah is the word for God in Aramaic.
In ancient Hebrew, let me insert, was al, A-L, and then phonetic, just like if you from Georgia, you would say this way, or from Canada, you sound this way, same word, potato, al, it became al, Allah, Allah.
Yep.
Ancient Hebrew, which our text is translated in Hebrew, right? But the Sumeric text, Sumerian and Semitic languages prior to that were saying Allah.
Right.
So we just want to you got to do some kind of studying on this thing and get in that.
You do. Let me tell you a joke that I heard the other day, and it kind of sums this up a little bit, I hope. And I'm gonna get to your questions in a second. But I saw this guy, and
okay, I get to
he's so this is the joke. This great Jewish guy has a son, and he sends his son out, to be on his own, and his son comes back as a Christian. So the Jewish guy's like, "My gosh, this is crazy. What am I going to do?" So he goes to see his rabbi, obviously, who was a Jew, and he says, "Rabbi, I sent my son out into the world.
Right.
He comes back to me. He's a Christian." Well, the rabbi was like, "Guess what happened to me?
Right.
I sent my son out into the world, and when he came back to me, he was a Christian." So the Jewish guy turns to the rabbi and says, "Well, what are we going to do?" The rabbi says, "Well, let's pray about it." So they go and they pray, and they say, "God, we sent our sons out into the world, and they became Christians." And God says, "Well, guess what happened to me?" Okay, I hope you get that, right? What I want you to understand is that Jesus really was a Jew.
Talk good, man.
And all of the guys in the first century didn't look at their new kind of religious experience as being outside of Judaism.
Period.
And so there is this synchronicity, particularly between what we see in the first century and everything that we saw kind of Old Testament up until to the point where you start seeing things change in the book of Acts, where they understand that we don't have to make sacrifices anymore. But Peter and John were going to the synagogue
Yeah.
at the hour of prayer.
Yeah.
Jesus essentially really never practiced what we would call Christianity. Jesus
Catch that what he just said.
He couldn't practice it because he is it. You see what I'm saying?
Hello.
So what Jesus
and God
practiced,
sent his son out as a Jew.
As a Jew.
And
he came back. God, as a Christian. It's a great joke.
That is a great joke. It really is. It really is.
And so when you go to other countries and you hear certain things, it's good to kind of make certain challenges and not to be ignorant about the fact that our religious expression as Christians is totally anti or totally different from what Jews do, because they don't believe that the Messiah has come yet. Correct. Some will argue that they don't believe he's going to come ever, right. But they don't believe that he has come. What we believe essentially is the fulfillment of Jewish prophecy.
Right. And Moses was you got to really do some studying in this.
Right.
In this thing. Moses is the greatest what do you say? Prophet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He wrote that. Right. And so there's all of these Abrahamic religions, if you will, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, all essentially find Abraham as the father of faith.
Period.
And they're all offshoots of essentially what we believe in. So
right.
We're really, when you deal with the Pentecostal church, not the Pentecostal religion, but the church that was birthed on the day of Pentecost, right. It is an offshoot of Judaism. And belief in the creator that created essentially this very special clan of people so that he could reveal himself to the world through them. And we believe essentially, again, that we are part of that, if you believe it right.
Another thing that I usually share with people, it's just like, remember we were talking about parables early on. We talked a lot about different parables, trying to get some more correct teaching. And anywhere where it says, and he or and she, insert yourself into that. Very simple way to learn and to read and to glean from whatever moral message is that you're reading about. When you hear the term religion, particularly in your studies, because we get caught up, that kind of makes something happen in the conversation when you actually say the word religion. Instead of doing that, try, and I'm just submitting this, put the word ritual in its place. And it'll take some of the air out of that. It's just like saying God, if you in a conversation and say, well, God said, or God, and just introducing, you say God, something happens in the conversation, changes the tenor of it, the atmosphere of it, the filter of the person listening potentially can be changed. And so to have a more neutral, objective conversation, I would submit, and my students came up with this from my classes that I was teaching, because of multiple different religious facets in there and practices. And I say, I'm going to go to the bathroom. You want to have a conversation about these things? You must come up with a word that's not offensive to everyone in the room when I come back. By the time I came back, we got it, Mr. Lamel, creator. Which was so amazing because we were talking about nature and creation. And some were even changing their heart by just using that term. Because you have to agree that it didn't make it so. Lord have mercy. This is so good tonight.
Ain't it though?
So you have to agree and yield to the ideal and the room. They came up with that. So I would submit that also to you. Religion, change that to ritual. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
That can be, so it can be simplified. And not abrasive. And then for God, say creator. Which actually empowers you for future conversations to come right back around and say, in the beginning, God. Man, this is...
I'm loving it.
Ain't it good?
It's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
We got see some questions. Karen done boomed in. Black to place. Them say, good God Almighty. What are we saying over here? The question about
one question: Do you have to bathe before you read the Quran?
No. You can make wudu. Wudu is the practice or ritual of washing before your prayers or before your worship, any form of worship. Reading the holy text, the Quran, is considered worship. I think we would do ourselves a favor in people that ascribe to or subscribe to Christianity to consider reading the text a form of worship as well. I think you would take it more seriously. It would be more um, or in a different way. What do you say, Pastor?
Totally agree.
So yes,
Totally agree.
make wudu, 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 and wudu is the practice of washing, and so it's not relegated to bathing per se. Mostly washing hands, and it's really they do a sprinkle. It's kind of like how you would do a in the Catholic faith baptizing a baby where they do sprinkles, you know what I mean? And depending on what the water source is, because they're in this part of the world where that's not always prevalent, you don't actually do a whole bath. You might not have access to water, so you can sprinkle and do the ritual of that, but it's not a formal bath as we know it.
Right.
And that's the term wudu, make wudu. Yeah.
Some of the rituals that are kind of fundamental to many of the world religions, particularly Islam, you if you're paying attention kind of to the Bible, you kind of some of them.
Absolutely.
One comes to mind that Daniel and the regularity from which he prayed, facing a particular direction. You see that kind of in Islam much more than you see it in what we call Christianity today. The beautiful thing I think about Christianity is that it kind of released us from having to do these things. But the other part of that is that we kind of can practice our religion without always being in a sacred space.
Right.
And I'm not talking about here, I'm talking about here.
Correct. That part.
And that's so if it is part of your religion to go wash your hands or to
and your feet
bathe
and
before you enter into the
anoint
word
yourself.
of Allah, the word of God, it makes sense. I'm about to enter into a very sacred space, so I want to make sure that my body is prepared, right? And so we don't practice those things, which because God has decided to reveal Himself that He doesn't need them. But some of us, I think, would do good to say
Absolutely.
to have that mentality that takes us there
because of the submission of it. That we've lost, I would say, the discipline of practice. Whatever you're choosing to practice, the discipline of it is lost mostly. It seems to be lost. You know what I mean? There were people that would go to Hajj. You can travel to it once a year, once every 10 years, and have the same results or effect or magnitude in your life as going to church every Sunday.
Yep.
Because of the sanctity of it and how it is here, like Pastor said first.
Yep.
So your approach to reckless or haphazard or cavalier.
Yep. Yep. I find myself, and not even really knowing that I did this, but a lot of time my ritual when I wake up in the morning is that when I go to my phone, I put on my scriptures, but I typically listen to them in the shower while I'm being washed. You know what I mean? Man. And I didn't even really make that connection that that's what I was doing, but I'm one of those guys that like showers, I spend some time with God in the shower. Like I get into my worship. So it just became a natural thing, but I didn't even realize that was kind of a ritual for me, where that being washed and the word kind of getting in me first thing in the morning, washing me is something that I do. And I love it. I really relish that time, particularly going back to school. I'm kind of getting back into my regular routine and, throwing my word, jump in the shower, have them both going at the same time, which kind of helps me start my day the way that I want to start it. But again, it's less about entering into, a temple, but making sure that the space here, that I'm focused, that my energy is right, that I'm meditating on the word and having it, change me.
I think, man, water is so significant because of its life properties. and its fluidity. Been having a couple of conversations over the past couple of months about the idea, and it's just an idea or concept that God is water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I say about that. It's deep for some people, but imagine how much in communion you are with spirit when you are in the shower or in the water.
Yep, somebody made a great post about water and how it connects to the Almighty.
I think I've seen that before too.
It's absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever get a chance to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just leave it.
Yeah,
Just let it breathe.
leave that right there.
Let it breathe. Another question: did Christianity release us from the law or fulfill the prophecy of the law? I'm going to say that your question sounds both to me. That it released us from uh, having to, slay turtle doves and bring lambs and find the red heifer and all that kind of stuff. It released us from that, while at the same time fulfilled in Jesus Christ.
And so, because of the fulfillment, right?
Yeah, right. Jesus didn't come to do away with it; he came to fulfill it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when we are in Christ, essentially, the law is weak. I say all the time, anything that anybody can break, anything that anybody can break is weak, right? My son could break an egg, right? Because eggs are weak. Anything that anybody can break is weak. The law is weak, but Jesus essentially is the strength of fulfilling it.
Yeah.
And as long as we're in Him, then we have fulfilled our obligations.
And laws are for the people that follow them. Y'all hear me say this all the time. Laws, whatever they are for the people that follow them. As a matter of fact, the Christ that we've just been talking about, that he was talking about, was considered an outlaw. And we have a TNT that says that. Run that back.
Run it back.
Jesus is the outlaw. And we like hymns. We talk about hymns. They were outlawed when they first would come on the scene, because it wasn't the traditional Gregorian chants and framework of Calvin and Martin Luther.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. I mean, yeah, exactly how it worked.
So
exactly how it worked.
I don't debate that. I have questions about how the pesticides and things are changing people's bodies, brains, and thought processes. Oh, that's what Tasha said.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes, we talked a little bit about this before. We did, my sister and I, but our family, but then also on TNT. There are a few chemicals that have been researched over the years. I forget his last name. He did a TED Talks. He's in hiding. I played some videos on TNT. Atrazine is one of the principal pesticides that is on most of our food. Atrazine over time with these studies causes estrogen increase in males and testosterone increase in females. And in frogs who share a similar reproductive makeup like humans. So these tests were done in frogs over time. And the males were actually became homosexual and mated with each other, and then actually became impregnated, and females became males in the frogs. And this chemical imbalance was because of their introduction of atrazine into their diet. Atrazine is found again on most of our produce, but it is also now, I recently learned, in our drinking water, along with fluoride, which petrifies your pineal gland, which they call the third eye, your dream, your consciousness, where you're creative and free thought. It petrifies that. Fluoride does. So get rid of that fluoride toothpaste, ma'am and sir. But It's in the drinking water, in your tap water. Fluoride is also chlorine is in there. Bleach is in there. Traces of aluminum, which are very detrimental. They cause eczema. Mercury is traces of that is in there. So yeah, you just got to do research. I'm not sure we do all of the things, but we do the best that we can
Yeah.
and try to inform ourselves. So yes, Tasha, um, people do make choices, and some of the choices are influenced, like you're saying, by these outside um, entities that have malice on their hearts, and that's unfortunate. Yeah, and I think we can speak to those, and if we begin to understand that this is intentional, because people are still denying that there's cognitive dissonance about many of the things that I talk about. But if we can understand that there's a faction that doesn't love you, that means you no good will, and that you are worth more ill, ill being sick, you're worth more. And the root of evil is the love of the almighty dollar. So having all those things and understanding, we can move better and do better. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a lot. I
yeah,
know. I'm
it's a lot.
sorry. I
It's a
said
lot, but
said a lot.
it's a lot, but it's almost the stuff that you were just talking about. It's kind of a microcosm of just the status of the world in which we live. I often find myself just grieved and in a place of repentance. It's like, and my question is, God, why are we like this? Like, why do we keep doing this? I mean, like, why are we so terrible when it comes to certain things?
Grieved is a good word because that just pricked me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been
I
that
was
very weighty, very heavy about that.
Yep.
Mm,
I was watching another
grieved.
Netflix show, this movie called Painkiller, and it basically kind of diagnoses the opioid uh, epidemic and how it came about.
Mm,
And there were a few things that just kind of broke my heart. But number one was that essentially the people that did this, they're just the biggest drug dealers in the world,
that's all.
and they're the biggest drug dealers in the world. And uh,
Pfizer, Johnson and Johnson. Let's get right to
right, yeah, Pfizer,
it.
Johnson and Johnson, Moderna, but this company was I forgot, but they're anyway, I don't know. But one of the things that they talked about was they had to pay like a $500 million fine or whatever, and he was like, "Well, yeah, but we have so much money that it's got to be paid out over 10 years with interest. Essentially, it's not going to affect us at all, or whatever, right?" That they had to pay to the victims, but it was just this very. I mean, obviously, this is not a documentary. It was supposed to be provocative, the smug way in which they were doing it, but our country is weird to me in that these guys are literally selling heroin, if you want to call it that, call it heroin. But if you were to, you're going to get locked up for 25, 30, 40, 50 years. And we have a generation of brothers, from the late 70s to the mid 90s that essentially were trying to feed their families or trying to buy the latest chain, whatever their reasons were, from the purest to the most nefarious, that pale in comparison to what these people were doing,
Absolutely.
being sanctioned by our government to essentially peddle these same drugs
Correct.
into the communities, getting people hooked on them.
Correct.
Um,
Correct.
and I'm like, God, like, why are we like this? Like, I'm like, this is terrible. This is some of the worst criminal activity that could happen, and the way that they did it and were able to get away with it, and still essentially have gotten away with it. They're destroying people's lives. And I had this conversation like, man, we just do a lot of, we always seem to make the wrong choices.
Choice.
We just don't have to.
Mm.
This astrazine or whatever. No, not astrazine. It's called atrazine. Right?
Atrazine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
atrazine. I've done some research about it myself, and it's like it should just be pure banned. It shouldn't even be allowed to be produced.
Terrible.
It should be banned. Period. Um,
And they introduced it and approved it before the tests were done to see if it was right.
yep.
And then hired the guy to do tests on it while it was already being given to the public
Right.
and in public use. That
Yep.
part.
Yeah. It's terrible. But even the use of pesticides kind of in general, if you kind of think about it, you know, we know that pests are pests. They're not they're not things that we want to have, right? And so if you're growing large farms and large crops, you want to try to figure out a way to keep the pests away. But you have to think about that there is a natural order of how things are supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
And if so, we're trying to eliminate stuff that is naturally supposed to be here.
It's doing what it's supposed.
It's supposed to be here. Why are we trying to get rid of it? You know why? Money. It's all about money. It's about trying to produce a product at a faster rate so that we can produce more of it and sell more of it.
It's so much with that comment right there. There's an Amish family community that's been doing natural things for 100 years, literally 110 years, I think they were saying. This family been on this property.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have cell phones. They don't have any, and they've been doing this. They sell milk to factories and stuff. They got milk, eggs. They got a couple of 100 acres. They are being fined $250,000 because they won't inject their cattle. And they're trying to come up with the money so they can still not do that because they don't want to introduce this foreign, whatever this is, into that.
Right. Wow. Who's eating the meat? Are they selling it to other stores?
They're selling it to the community, their store in their community,
right,
and to regular groceries in the area, shipping it out. So that's one element. The other element is that there is now, I'm going to make this, y'all get on Instagram and subscribe to me, Mike Time, ICTIME_. I got I think a couple of 2-3 subscribers, but subscribe to me. So I'm going to start putting my information to people that's following me, subscribing. So then they can't take that away. All right. But there's a company that within a few minutes can make chicken.
Yeah, I saw that. That's been coming for a minute, but
it's been coming.
Right.
It's here. They have all these, and they can't, and they're making the chicken and saying that it's the new meat and it's edible and it's real chicken. They're calling it real chicken. Well, it's not real chicken. I just want to say that.
It's just not.
That you just made in a few minutes from a vat in a machine.
It's just not.
15 years ago, roughly, Kentucky Fried Chicken no longer was Kentucky Fried Chicken. They actually went to court. They had to change their name to KFC because they're not feeding you chicken. Don't be mad at me. I'm just telling you how it really is. KFC is not chicken. When it was Kentucky Fried Chicken, it was then chicken.
Chicken, yeah.
And then they changed it. And they literally had to go to court, legal matter, because it's not chicken. So they changed the name to KFC. Is anybody listening? Okay. Karen Scott said the famous families made the pharmaceutical industry. Then she said the creation of breakfast cereals. Daryl Reed said it's taking in too much water, which is thought essential for the body, allowing us to ingest too many chemicals. Absolutely. You need to have alkaline water. And there are different things that you can purchase to make your water alkaline. There are actually packets that you can get that will purify spring water. Like you go out. So you need to do some research. There are videos. I kept saying that I was going to make some. Maybe I'll use TNT. This will charge me to move a little more promptly. If every week I show you all one kind of survival thing.
Sounds good. Have a segment, man. Got to get a little segment. We already got our Siskel and Ebert.
Right. So I'll do that.
Segment.
I'll start doing that. But yeah, SHTF. That's an acronym. You kind of figured it out. Hit the fan. If you look at that on YouTube, there are people that make videos all the time, been doing it for years. But you can learn a lot of these things. They sell different intricate little things. And so do yourself a favor and kind of get on that. Do not move in panic or fear or anxiety, but absolutely be informed. Yes, I mean, anything too much of anything is bad. We are 70 over 71 or so percent water ourselves, and there's still such thing as water poisoning. So do everything in moderation. The book tells us that. Um, they also burn down farmers' crops and things. Yes, they're absolutely burning down things. The situation in Hawaii is so interesting. Oh, let's give a positive note. Floyd Mayweather, big up to TNT. Floyd Mayweather, Money Mayweather, the boxer, 46 years old. He helped 68 families out of his personal wallet, his personal finances, flew them out of Maui into Honolulu, put them in hotels, contacted the restaurants and hotels to feed these families, contacted the stores to clothe these families, 68 families, his own dime, didn't put it in the news, didn't make any posts about it. Some other people have been talking about it, but he has not made one thing. I have not seen it highlighted. I want to be very clear that we need more action like this. And this is a person, for all the posts that they throw him down, nobody's talking about that he did this.
Yep.
68 families, and didn't ask nobody for nothing.
Yep.
Okay, I just want to be clear. Meanwhile, we're sending $600 billion to Ukraine.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway. Got my pressure up, bro.
Aunt Ruth asked, what about Church's chicken?
Listen, this is how you know, Aunt Ruth, and I will be clear. I'm not trying to out anybody or shame anybody. If it says fast food, take that in context. Chickens are raised over a period of time. Fast food. Okay.
Okay.
And apply that accordingly.
Okay. Praise God. I rarely ever eat it.
Yeah. Not gonna be able to do it.
Praise God.
Listen, I know you're not gonna like this. The bread at Chick-fil-A has bleach in it. It's bleached. It's not real bread.
It's white, right? White bread.
Yes.
Gotta have bleach in it.
Has other chemicals in it, preservatives. I need you to be mindful of that. Okay. Fast food. All right. The fires. Depends on if you're getting natural water. Yeah. So the fires, man. People have been trying to get me to talk about this fire thing. I want to type something in the chat, and you go and look at this.
My wife loves bleach. Look at her. Bleach.
That's been around for so long. And weather modification has been a thing. By the time y'all heard about it, it's been 15 years back. So I've been talking about it. I made a post today talking about peanuts and George Washington Carver. And I made it's my last Instagram post.
Yep.
And peanuts are not good for major consumption. You can eat it in very small moderation. They contacted him because the war was going on. And again, about money. He said, do not eat soybeans. He's the peanut guy. He said, peanuts you can eat, but again, in moderation.
Mm-hmm.
Do not eat soybeans. Eat that in lesser moderation than peanuts. This can solve intermittently our food crisis.
Right.
For the peanuts. Then you got to peel back off of that. Okay. You know, this is a Michael Lamel trivia tidbit. I've never had a PB&J.
Never had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
In my whole life.
Wow. We used to eat them religiously back in the day.
Tasha said, now everything made out of soy. Yes. Do this research as well. Everybody who's health conscious, who's a fitness person in America, particularly, who is on eating to live and wellness for their life, they end up with some form of cancer. Some carcinogen is attacking their body, and it doesn't end well. Soy, soybeans, and soy byproducts are carcinogenic. All right. And every single snack that is what we deem a bad snack, like ho Twinkies, to every healthy quote unquote that's at GNC, every single one has soy in it. You tell me why.
Soy based.
It's big business.
Okay, you got some comments over here. My wife says she loves peanut butter and jelly.
Moderation.
Okay, real out. So what do you eat? Is the question on the table. What
You
do
eat.
you eat?
This is the answer. What do you eat? You eat what you grow. Boom. The end. What you grow and what you catch.
You know what? I mean, it's so funny because I was just thinking about it when we were talking about pesticides. I mean, that's kind of how we grew up a lot. You know, I talk about it all the time. My grandparents had 2 gardens and fruit trees in the heart of Park Place. And I cannot remember ever seeing my granddad spray nothing on his greens. He just dealt with it. You know, you however you get up with them. There's a lot of natural ways. There's a guy I follow on IG that you mix stuff up. But it's all natural that helps keep them at bay or whatever. But when my grandmother wanted to make tomatoes, she'd go to the backyard. In the fall, the collard greens would grow. There was a peach tree back there. There was crab apples, string beans. You know, that's what we ate.
I'm charging everyone to try to start a garden. Start it and see what you think. Do you have no fear? Do you want to die from soon? Robert Floyd. Do you have no fear? Yeah, I really don't. I can't think of one, Robert Floyd, of a specific fear that I have. Yeah, of something to die from. Nah, I'm kind of fearless in that regard. Like real talk. People that know me kind of know I'm like that. Like, yeah, we about to get it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? But I'm also unbothered on so many levels. Pastor Joe was just before we went live, we were just having that conversation because people, the world, kind of plays on your feelings all the time. They want you to pick up their feelings and their botheredness and their fear and their anxiety and oh my God. And they use your reaction or response as a barometer of your engagement, your love, your caring, your
right.
Nah, bro. I'm unbothered. He just was talking about that. Yeah. Unbothered. Yep. And people, I'm definitely in a space where people that try to make me be bothered, I can't do it.
Yep.
Because why? Jesus most times was unbothered. Nope. He was about the business and focus that he was doing. Good God. And he was unwavering. I must needs go through Samaria. Y'all go do that part. Yep. As a matter of fact, go do that part because you're going to inhibit what I need to do.
Yep.
Yep. Unbothered.
Yep.
But we got to go over here. They're like, somebody touch me. They're trying to keep people. He's saying, suffer the little children coming to me. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, get out. You're at that. Mind your business. Somebody touch me. Master, it's all these people. No, listen. I know it's all these people. I'm right here with you.
Yep.
Somebody touch me. Yeah. So yeah, man. I'm not really fearful, but I wanted to just make the point that we talked about unbothered, and that's really a big thing for.
Yeah,
because he just said
yeah. The point isn't to make you nervous about whatever you eat, and to fear mongering, but you should be cognizant, conscious, aware of kind of how things work.
Correct.
Ideally, if you could grow all your own food and catch your own food, it would be the most ideal thing for you to eat. You live in the world, right? So you're gonna have to figure it out. Ruth says a great thing. Say grace. Ask if you ask God to protect you,
make voodoo.
You know, I think you're going to be good. Case in point, you know, people that look like us, we come from a people that essentially had to eat the worst of foods. They had to eat pig's feet and try to make it into something edible and tasty. They had to eat chitterlings. They had to eat collard greens are not they're not tasty in and of themselves. It's not like kale or spinach that you can just kind of you have to soak them and salt them and season them
We
over.
made them be a delicacy,
right.
but they didn't. They're not that.
Right. And these people worked all day, didn't have shoes, were slaves, beaten, ate the worst of food, and some of them lived to 110 years old. Right. So God will protect you. uh, don't worry about it.
That's good.
But you're not silly about it either. You
Right.
walk circumspect. It's a good biblical word.
Ain't that
that
is a good word.
where you understand.
Y'all learned two good words: immutable and circumspect.
Exactly. And I was talking to Deacon Floyd about this the other day. A lot of the food that we eat now, we call it soul food. Right. It really wasn't soul food. It was survival food.
Right.
That's the better name for it. Right. And so a lot of that we don't have to eat anymore. And we probably should be removing from our diets and going back to what our ancestors ate and consumed and stuff like that, which, hopefully that day is coming for many of us.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like a good piece of fresh fried fish or a good piece of fresh fried chicken out the cast iron pan. I mean, it's good. You know what I mean?
That's your iron content of the pan. I will leave you with this. Whatever you eat, when you impart a grace on it, it becomes soul food. Good God Almighty. See? Let's run. Ha, soul food, huh?
That's it. That's it.
It speaks to your soul. It'll be good for your soul.
That's it. That's
soul good. Food. Catch that.
I caught it, brother.
Our ancestors preserved all our fruits and vegetables to eat all year long. That
they did. Yep.
That's good. I saw a fish question. Yes, catch fish.
Yeah.
I would recommend learning about hydroponics and aquaponics. Yeah, that can be good. So you have fish and you farm your own fish in a controlled environment. And then you eat from what you are raising, the fish that you raise, and you eat that. But then the fish fertilize your crops. So they work hand in hand. It's in tandem.
Ecosystem. You create your own ecosystem.
You create literally that. Yeah. So that's aquaponics. And then hydroponics, using water to irrigate, building aqueducts, if you will, to irrigate your own area.
Yep. It's good stuff, man.
Money, man, is the people try to, that's a whole big kind of thing. They won't even let the people in Saudi Arabia grow their alfalfa here in America. And we allow that. And there's people hungry here in America.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
They grow it because alfalfa is a water crop, retains it.
Oh,
they have mandates, and they have laws, these things in place where you can't do that over there because of water shortages. And that's deviant.
That's yeah, they can't really grow it over there.
So they grow it here, ship it in.
Do you drink tap water?
No, I don't. Grind, preserved in salt foods are one of the ways that we ate all meat without refrigeration. Yes, salt is not a bad thing. It's always been a even in trades over time and over the world, spices, incense, salt was very high on the list because even our tears are salt. It comprises with water a lot of our makeup. So again, I can say it over and over, too much of anything is bad. But be mindful that the salt that we are intaking with our food is processed, just like the bread is not real bread. Try to get like Ezekiel bread or even because I still try to eat wheat bread. Everybody just has not all good things. So, but the wheat bread has glutens in it. These are literally like glues that gel all of the things together. The ingredients, that part is good, the natural part, and then they insert glutens telling you that this is holding it together and it's a preserve. But some of those things are forever in your body. That's why fasting is important.
Yep. Salt. Back to salt, because y'all, we about to wrap this up.
Y'all
starting to get a little deep. Um, Mansa Musa, who is believed to be the richest man to ever live, the black man from Africa,
Look
was
like
a
this.
gold and salt trader. Is what he was. Gold was obviously was probably a little bit less value than salt, because salt has these preserving qualities. So many things you can bathe and all this kind of stuff.
Correct.
And so I was always told that salt wasn't good for you. Too much of it is not.
The processed salt, we want to get
Right.
Himalayan salt. You want to get sea salt, and try to get it not processed, just like sugar. If you can, ma'am,
Cane
sir,
sugar.
use cane sugar
Yep.
or brown sugar. All
Yep.
right.
Yep. So again,
This became a whole nother
I see.
thing.
It just went somewhere. It's what does. It does somewhere. They say that bottled water is tap water.
So try to. A lot of them are try to. If you're going to hold your water or purchase it, try to get it not in a bottle, plastic. Try to get it in glass. And if you do get it in plastic, don't let it sit for a long time. Try to consume it, because you can't tell how long it's been sitting.
Yep.
And think of it this way: we recycle plastics because they're forever material. It's a forever material, plastic. And in that, think of everything that you have ever recycled yourself. And when you pick up that plastic to drink from it and it goes to your lips, think about everything that you recycled. Think about it in that moment. And then you will move to use more glass or metals, cans. Sunlight activates ultraviolet rays, activate and heat, activate the chemicals that are in plastics. And don't save plastic things in the refrigerator. I don't think a lot of people really knew this. Tupperware, we used to do that a lot, in plastic containers. Once you put them in the refrigerator with the food absorbs the chemicals in the plastic. So when you go back to eat it, you have now consumed those forever chemicals and some of those things in your body. A lot of them are carcinogenic. And we're wondering, well, how did this person get cancer? They always did right. They did this. There are different ways, and cancer is big business. So be mindful.
Biggest business. Yep.
Well said. Why not eat what you grow? What is GMO? Plants that do not have seeds. Who control the food? Yeah. So you need to be able to get seeds, and conversations like this is where it starts, where you learn a few things, and then building a community, which I'm always talking about that, where you say, hey, you have watermelons that you grew. Let me get some of them seeds. Okay. Well, you have grapes that you grew. Give me some of them. Give me some of that vine or that plant. Our parents have figs, right, at the house. My mother wants to cut the whole tree down. I'm like, nah. She used to make fig preserves. Amazing. Still got a couple in the cabinet.
All right.
If anybody makes figs preserves, come and get some figs. I want some, but come and get those, right? And let's take some of those and replant them so that we have an array of figs.
Yep.
Figs is something you can take and eat off the tree.
Right. Yep.
Well, good grief. I should be gone by now.
Kit Kat, you all right?
You, Kit
Go
Kat.
get you some Kit Kats. Just pray over them. It's gonna be all right.
That part.
You're all right. You're all
Listen,
right.
we have been stop microwaving. It killed the food. Yes, don't microwave. Get rid of those. Use a confectionery oven, or conventional small oven, or your regular big oven. Take the time. Everything takes the time that it takes. So take it. All right, we out of here. We didn't even say, Lo, we're gonna do one question for the sake of
one question.
We done said some scriptures though.
We have. We've been in the book all night.
All night. Say one, Pastor. This is a continuation of the categories.
Okay, that's the beginning for 800.
In the beginning for 800. All right, get those Bibles real quick. What is the first color mentioned in the Bible?
I think I got that.
White, blue, red, or green?
I think I got that one.
What is the first color mentioned in the Bible? All right. What is the first color, ladies and gentlemen? All right. White, blue, red.
I want to see what people
green.
think on this.
Me
one.
too.
And close your Bibles.
White, blue, red. White, blue, red.
Let me see what y'all gonna say.
What is the first color mentioned in the Bible? Notice they didn't say black.
No,
all right.
I don't see nobody on my Facebook saying, okay, I
Got
got a
one.
red. All right, all right. The
Is it
blood of
white, blue,
Jesus.
red, or green?
Okay, my wife says green. All right. Karen says blue.
JLW says green.
JLW says green.
I don't
I
read
don't read
enough to
enough.
know.
I'm gonna guess red. All right.
Listen,
I like that.
and be here because none of us do. We're learning all together, Kit
Right.
Kat.
Karen says blue. All right.
And Ruth says blue.
All
There's
right.
a lot of them, man. We saying all different.
I'm gonna tell you what I think. I believe that there is a scripture that
It's a
says
great question.
every green herb.
The first color mentioned in the Bible.
So I'm gonna say green.
That's your final answer?
That's my final answer.
If you said green, ladies and gentlemen, you are correct. Hey. Michael said green, land. I'm gonna say she said green. Yep.
Everybody's waiting for you, Michael.
Yep, they were. That's what that was. Genesis 1 and 30. All right. That's where your scripture is.
Green plant.
Green. Genesis 1 and 30. That was actually a great question. That's a great question for Sunday school and for children's church. Green. That is your scripture.
Look at the book teaching us how to eat.
See that? And listen, just right there, what we were talking about.
Right there.
I mean, order is everywhere.
Look,
you just got to see it, man. Order is everywhere. And not stop getting out of order because that's what you feel like you want to do. Genesis 1 and 30. Let's look at it right quick, shall we?
Let's do it.
We way over time. But and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it is so.
Green herbs.
All right. JLW said, I was thinking plants. Reverend, we should just do one more. That last one, since that was 800.
Let's go to the 1,000. Let's go to
this 1,000. Is for 1,000 in the beginning question. All right. Last one. We got to go. We've been an hour and a half.
All right.
Who is the first individual mentioned by name in the Bible that was slain by God because of some evil doing?
Okay.
Who is the first individual mentioned by name in the Bible that was slain by God because of some evil doing? Nadab, Cain, Lamech, or
I think everybody gonna get that one.
All right. Karen Scott says she loved learning from us. Thank you.
We learning from y'all too.
We love y'all. We learning. I definitely don't know it all. I love teaching, which by default means, for me anyway, and it should mean for all teachers, that they love learning, right?
Yep.
And learning is perpetual. That's what I'll say.
Yep.
He's a teacher, puts his cape on and goes and teaches that Clark Kent right there. And don't you learn every day from the people that you're
every day
teaching? It's really true.
Every day. All right. Where y'all at?
And I will say that I like come here because it's not me speaking most times. I'm just getting that unction.
Yep.
Listen, I'm outside listening like, wow, that's amazing.
Yep.
And God brings back to my remembrance all the things that I've quieted myself and deposited in my mind and read and took in. He brings it back with immediacy, suddenly. All right. Waiting for some answers, y'all. Let me read it again. What is the first individual mentioned by name in the Bible? They in the book trying to read.
I know, right? That's why
that was slain by God because of some evil doing.
All
Nadab, Cain, Lamech, or E-R. Ain't nobody saying nothing. Quiet.
Well, I can tell you who it's not.
All right, tell me who is not.
It's
right
not
now. Let's look at this. It's not Cain. Most people gonna say that. I think
Abel, but
she said, we don't know.
Cain was not slain by God.
That part, I need you to really catch where he just said. He did a thing, right? But he was sent to the land of Nod. Y'all got to get in the book to really know some of these things, right. Which is not an actual place like going from Portsmouth to Virginia Beach. Like Pastor and I'm going to Norfolk. It's not that. It's a state of wandering. All right, let's see. What do people say?
JL saying
Micah said Cain, just kidding. Okay. All right, let's see.
Everybody what you saying? So
some more people. Hold on. It said Lamech, black to place.
Okay, so I'm a little bit stuck because if I remember correctly, Lamech is the guy who comes sometime after Cain and was like Cain was
That's
gonna
true.
be avenged. I'm trying to think, remember what his demise was. So I'm gonna go with Nadab.
Okay.
I don't know this answer. I'm just kind of going through it in my mind. I don't know. So,
Any takers gonna jump on that ship, on the Nadab ship with Pastor? Darrell Reed said, Cain, brother, we try to give you that who is not.
I don't even know who is.
He did get a consequence for his action, though, Cain. Very specific.
It's in my mind, I'm going Lamech and Nadab, but I'm not sure what Lamech's was. I don't remember what his demise was. So I'm just going with Nadab.
Can we get a hint? Get that book open. All right, here we go. You talking with Nadab?
I'm just going with Nadab.
Nadab is incorrect.
Incorrect. Okay.
And is the correct answer.
I couldn't even think of who was.
I don't see anybody that said
I think Joanna said
it's Genesis 38:7. Oh yeah. Sis, she said it. JLW said it. And you know we got to read if we get it wrong. Or we have a discussion about it. We got to go to
foreign to me. And I know I read this a few times.
All right, Genesis. This
38,
is 38 and 7. JLW for the win. All right. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him.
Took him on out.
That's why you didn't really believe.
Right, it's just a blurb.
That part. Judah took a wife for
yeah.
For his firstborn, whose name was Tamar.
Oh, okay.
That's the part of the context that you were missing.
There it is.
And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord.
So God had to
get rid of him.
And then Tamar, she was busy.
That part, that's a whole
tonight, Aunt Ruth, or nobody else.
Nobody else. That's a whole other J. You Hagar was doing some stuff.
Tamar was busy. I know.
Busy is lightly putting it. Because she was putting it heavy.
Hallelujah.
Get in that story.
Y'all kept us busy tonight.
Yeah. Great times, though.
It was excellent, man. We love y'all, man.
Love you. Thank you. I would be remiss. Tasha said this. I'm only going to talk about this right now. She said, congratulations. Tasha said, what they're going to make us try to do. Tasha came in and said, they want to read your jank. They also burn. Anyway, she said a congratulatory thing to me because today something happened. They gave me, they had told me they were going to nominate me or whatever. And it's for the 2023 Black Men Rock.
Oh, dope, man.
I'm supposedly won the category of director and producer and influencer person. Black Men Rock 2023. It's happening sometime in December.
Do we get to vote?
They've already voted, apparently. I don't know how they got this. They got me, and I'm winning this award and being honored sometime in December. I made a post about it.
What's the awards? Because I know they do
Black Men Rock Awards.
That's what it's called. Like that. Okay, because I know that they do like awards.
It'll be in Suffolk.
It's a 7.5.
Yeah, cool, it's a 757. I've won that award, I think.
Congratulations, my brother.
So on my Facebook post, I said I'm only going to make this one post.
Make a bunch of them, man.
Latrice showed up with a guy. They came. He was dressed like Jeffrey Wilson. J-Dub, he had on a hat and tails, and came and they read this kind of declaration. And it's on Facebook.
It's on your Facebook.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
Let's put pressure on him, man. Make sure the Mike wins, man.
Man, that's hot, bro. Thank you, baby girl. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Yeah.
I wish I would have seen.
Micah said this was good. It was good, right, baby girl? I'm definitely want to reiterate. I'm not a know-it-all. I spend a lot of time studying, more than most. And people say, "Well, how you know so much?" and blah blah. I don't really. I will say this, and I encourage everyone to be this. I usually only talk about things that I do know. The rest of the time, I'm listening to glean information.
Makes perfect sense to me.
So when you're in a conversation that I know, I'm definitely willing to share what I do know or what I've studied and researched. The rest of the time, I'm quiet. So we talk about Bible. I research to talk about that. Talk about living better and well. That also.
Yep. We're getting ready to go. Encourage Mike by following him, send him a bunch of congratulations.
You can get on that Mike Time _ because
Get on
I'm
Mike Time.
going to be making more posts to subscribers, and then they can't do all
Right.
that how they do it.
They can't put him in jail. And then we want to, we talked about tonight, we want to start introducing new segments. And so we're gonna start doing.
I gotta do it now, right?
Survival segment. We're gonna do it every time, but we might do it, once a, boom. I guess we got to do our review segment. So
look, this is what you do for next week. Go to the dollar store. You got to do this whenever you're out. Just kind of peruse the dollar store and start gathering different things. We're gonna say next week crayons. All right,
get some crayons.
And let's go to the dollar store. $1 worth of lighters, because you always need fire in case something happens. Fire and light, and crayons. Just a small box of $1 crayons. All right.
Boom.
Crayons.
Boom.
All right. I love you guys.
We love y'all, man.
All right. This ain't almost like preaching. Like it takes a.
It does. It does. All right, man.
We're
gonna boom it out.
I love y'all. Y'all boom good now.
Boom.
Tweet somebody, text somebody, tell everybody to boom out with us on TNT. Share the link. All right. Peace.